Yes, 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 yes. We are here, we are here, we are here. And we thank thee for calling upon us once again to be able to deliver our insights and perspectives that we know you are seeking from us. Many of you are questioning and pondering the truth behind certain weather systems, and we say it's not a secret that man has been playing with technology that man should not be. They claim and say and justify it for very many reasons. But as we say and see, for you to understand, all control systems are to keep you small and to keep them feeling a heightened sense of control. They're using their free will choices to do things to others to make them feel superior, to make them see you feel disempowered and scared and disestablished within your own properties, within your own homes. And we see this with what you could say heavy hearts, but also we understand and we see beyond your current day. We see beyond your current heartbreak and concern. And we want to tell you again, all is well. It is amazing how humanity will rally together to support each other, link arms in arms, hearts to hearts. You share your pockets with those who have suddenly had a natural disaster occur to them, versus seeing people on the streets where their lives have been one long series of natural disasters. And yet you walk past them with your pockets shut. But when you hear tragedy, you suddenly get an overwhelming sense of empathy because suddenly you feel lucky. Suddenly you feel safe. Suddenly you feel comfortable in your dry house. And so this is not the vehicle we are talking about. This is humanity in general. You suddenly care about others when there has been a victim from a natural disaster. And so you become very sensitive because you suddenly feel lucky. And in what we could say is your guilt for feeling lucky, this did not happen to you, you will be more generous with your money, your time, your compassion, and your consideration for others who are going through their own experiences. Often it is through guilt that you are charitable. And so this is triggering all for significant reasons. We also want to say those who are, in quotation marks, suffering because of the floods are feeling more supported, more loved, more nurtured, more cared for, more considered than they have in a very long time. And that is significant. That is significant. They are seen, they are feeling seen, they are feeling heard, they are feeling supported, they are feeling a lot of emotions that they haven't been able to get before. And so while they are stuck in this tragedy, while they are considered these victims, we see so many who are not addressing their inner work of victimhood. And this is an important inner peace journey as well for you to empower yourselves through. But you've been conditioned to not cry. You've been conditioned to suck it up, get on with it. There are others worse off than you. You've heard these statements and you tell yourselves these statements often when you're feeling like you may just need to take some time out to feel what's your feelings, to feel into what's going on for you. And it's almost taboo for some to acknowledge that they're in fear, just like it feels almost taboo for some to go into seeing that they were a victim in scenarios. It may need a gigantic natural disaster in quotations, natural, to feel and trigger those people into feeling victim. And we say, from our perspective, you've all been impacted and you're all victims to other people's choices and how they want to control you. And that is fine. There is no good or bad, shall we say, because all of the souls are learning. Those who are trying to control are learning, and those who are complying to be controlled are also learning. And it is all marvelous. The dances and games you play in 3D, very real, very reactive, very surreal, shall we say, also. And so we want you to be reassured that all is well, and things are going to get more and heightened and intensive. No one country is going to be exempt from these things that are coming to shake you up emotionally, to make you consider your fellow man, your neighbors, not necessarily your physical neighbors as such, but those who are in your countries and those who are on your planet who are curiously experiencing more heightened experiences. And for those who have been so diligently complying to all, and they are noticing more and more and more how things around them are impacting them. They like to have their routines to be regularly disengaged to new situations. They like to have their status quo of life. And so for things to start impacting them, such as money, financial systems, such as educational systems, political systems, health systems, is a big one that is awakening many. A big one. But it is all to help with the journey of the grand awakening at this important time for people to start activating their mindsets into thinking for themselves. And unfortunately, once you start thinking for yourselves and start seeing all that has been going on through other people's choices, you can trigger yourself into victim. And we say that is bold and brave, because the journey of victim can look so disempowering, but we say it actually can be very empowering because you're healing yourself through that victimhood. Some we see relish and love the drama of being victims, and they'll never let that go. They will always want to blame others for their predicaments. They will always want to blame illnesses and throw a whole lot of labels onto their mindsets and their choices that they're doing to themselves. And that is fine. They are going to just be stagnant in that because they're not willing to grow. But we see that some do need to heal themselves and empower themselves because they are true victims for various reasons. And so they're scared if they start feeling as a victim, what next? And we see many of the victims are afraid to feel into being a victim because of the journey of how to heal themselves through that. And they actually are quite afraid that they're going to start getting angry. They're also afraid of those emotions too, because once you are identifying yourself being a victim, there is many emotional journey steps to be able to heal yourself. And often people are afraid to feel a victim because then they're afraid that they're going to start turning their emotional focus onto anger and rage. And the worst part that we see is people then assume that as they're healing from victim, not only are they going to feel rage and anger, but they're going to seek revenge. And they're very sensitive to not then hurting others as it has been done to them. And so they're trying to heal themselves while not trying to be reactive to create more victims. And it is a fine balance. And so we say to you all, journey and explore all emotions. And it is absolutely fine to identify and label all the range of emotions you are feeling. We also want to remind you, when you are not completing and unpacking and able to identify the range of emotions you feel and you're holding on to and not looking at a lot of inner work, your senses, your intuition, your insights, your perspectives can only extend beyond what you have healed yourself. And we see many who are trying to build and strengthen their intuition while they still have many blocks and limited perspectives underneath them. And we say, when you heal yourself and you address all of the inner work as much as you can, you will notice then a shift in your perspectives. You will notice then a more true, deeper connection where you are not judging others while you're seeing it all unfold as it needs to be for the experiences and lessons. You're not seeking revenge or justice. You're not seeking to exclude others. You're trying to include others to love themselves while also including yourself to love self. When you see, and we want to point out some spiritual people who haven't mastered this themselves, and you can definitely see this with the truther community, who are so hurt that they want to only see the details of the grand awakening and react to be just completely victim and be in fear and willing to fight at all costs. That is not empowerment. They don't even consider what the purpose of the grand awakening is for. And so they are stuck and they are trying to find communities to be revengeful with, to be in panic with, to be in fear together with. And you can react to all of the controlled systems. We're not saying skip past it. But once you have felt the fear, once you have felt the disempowerment, and once you have felt feeling victim, you have options to empower yourself to see the significance of why this would go ahead. When you remember you have spiritual guides, when you remember you have collectives and so much soul family watching you, protecting you, guiding you, encouraging you, inspiring you, you can trust that all is well. You can have faith in yourself to know that you have chosen your life contract for these specific experiences you are having. And while you can grow at a rapid pace to be able to see things from a bigger perspective of neutrality with inner peace as you're observing the game of life versus being a reactive player. It is all choices how you conduct yourselves to inspire yourselves and others. But we say you must look at your pile of inner work to understand your intuition, to understand the senses of your gut. We are saying often some of you sense a gut intuition and you interpret it as a negative about someone. And ultimately, you are feeling your gut instinct is, holy shit, this person's going to trigger me to grow. And that is fine. It is purposeful. It's always about how you can instantly react to shut down new situations. And we see many of you are trying to only strive to be with like-minded people. And we say, well, that's fantastic. But are you ignoring those people who are needing your perspectives and compassion and considerations to empower themselves to then become like-minded people? Or have you forgiven and forgotten and let them go already? We see some of you have close friends who you haven't wanted to be tolerant to empower themselves through it. They may have different medical choices. They may have different political systems, perspectives. You're still capable of loving each other, even when you have different perspectives, even when you have different tastes. We want to remind you with gentle love that you would never shun someone in your community because they didn't like the same ice cream flavor as you. And so therefore, check yourselves and check your reactions and your disconnect and your avoidance of others. You're all brothers and sisters, and you're all very capable of loving each other completely. But we want to say, for those who are distancing themselves from others, is it because you're afraid to speak your truth? Is it because you're afraid to hold them accountable for their looping, for their limited perspectives, for their unwillingness to let things go and heal? You do not have to convince them of your way of perspectives or thinking, but you can convince them that they're loved, that there is meaning to life, that there is meaning to all experiences, and that they are protected, whether it's Source or God or sweet baby Jesus himself. You are all connected. You are all supported. You are all loved, and you're all guided. All of you. And every single one who is here on this planet at this time. You're all part of Source. You're all a unit, experiencing your own personal, your own personal role, drive, unique aspect of self. We are trying to find a lovely analogy to give you. And we're showing a beautiful beach and all the grains of sand. And we are saying each grain of sand is having its own experience, being its own speck of sand, its own grain. And while it sums up each other as a beach, that sand has a different view, a different perspective, and a different history, being part of that member of that group of sand to become that beach. And yet the sun still shines on you all equally. You were all created the same, but you're merely having different experiences. Some of you like to be up far away from the water to just observe. Some of you like to be right in there amongst the breaking of the water of the waves and find it fantastic to be dipping in and out of the water. It's all your choices where you want to be positioned in the beach. But you're all together. And when you see and remind yourself of truly how you're all equal, how you're all one, and how you're all playing the games to empower each other. And we say, when you still think a bully is only there to harm you, we say, look at the bully and look at how they're trying to tempt you to choose choices that don't empower you. It is time for you to step up to the bullies. It is time for you to see how you are capable of not playing and being triggered into the role that the bully is persuading you to be. If you agree and allow the bully to be the bully, then that's on you. That is your choice. You could also see how insecure the bully is and how fragile the egos are for them to have to play this role, to play this game, to find empowerment, to try and disempower others. You can stop reacting to the bully and you can start exploring and examining the reactions and the purpose and the drive of that bully and why they're truly behaving that way. Is it a life contract for you to empower yourself to say, piss off? I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm done. I'm going to love myself and I'm going to love you. And you can continue on the way that you want to be a bully. And I can stand beside you and encourage you and inspire you to be better, for you to empower yourself to love yourself and not get your jollies off and not get your adrenaline going because you're trying to hurt others. Look at your own hurt, dear bully. Look at your own behaviors, dear bully. Look at your own responsibilities and accountability, dear bully, and see if this is time for you to grow up. There is so much going on for all of you, and we are scanning and seeing and observing all that we can do to assist you, to be able to find the perspectives, to be able to understand the games and the rules you're playing. And you can be as reactive as you want in the third dimension. It's all up to you with your choices and your use of free will. And of course, we have got all of your life contracts that we are honoring and supporting you with, as we know that this is the experiences that you wanted to endure and explore and to master in some regards. And so we say this with love and empowerment and inspiration for you to seize the day, seize the moment, celebrate all of your empowerment, celebrate all of your growth, celebrate your bodies, celebrate your friends, celebrate your families, celebrate all the lessons, even those ones that created the biggest snot bubbles. Because you have those experiences, you have grown from them, you have known from them how to empower yourself and to not get stuck in any range of emotions that no longer serve you and no longer serve others. Let me say this with much love and appreciation for all of you who are wanting to empower yourselves so diligently at this important time. We are saying you've always tried to empower yourselves. You just didn't quite know how to make it the key impact that you were needing and seeking for yourselves. It is important and significant, everything that you have done in the prior past. And for those who are seriously empowering themselves, you had to go through every other day beforehand to get to be at this point now, to learn and grow and understand those experiences. We see some of you are feeling frustrated. If you just learned this information prior, you wouldn't have had that breakup. You wouldn't have had that challenge. You wouldn't have had those things. If you just had this perspective, you wouldn't have been such that jerk. And we're saying all jerks are important because you get to learn from those experiences. And you forgive those jerks that come into your life because you know where they're at. You know where they are hurt. You can recognize and identify this is not them trying to be a jerk on you for you to react. This is them being that prickly cactus who is showing you their hurts, who are exposing their inner work to you to be able to help you assist them, to nurture them and heal them, and not react to their pricks, to them being jerks. They're doing the best they can. And some of them are trying to get your attention more than others because they're hurting more than others. It's all perspectives, our dear ones. Love yourself and find that beautiful balance of being of service to you and being of service to all. And we say this with much love.